Another Muslim terrorist attack in Belgium. And President Trump evidently is going to meet with dictator Kim from North Korea. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance. Welcome to the broadcast, friend. This is a day of grieving for our brothers and sisters in Belgium, and it's a day of warning for all of the rest of us. The details are as follows. A 36-year-old man, Benjamin Herman, a Belgian man, got out of prison on Monday. And then later that day, he walked up to two female police officers, stabbed them in the back. They did not see him coming. Stabbed both of them in the back. While they were on the ground in pain from their injuries, he took their pistols from them and then used their guns, or one gun, to shoot both of them and kill them on the spot. He then killed a 22-year-old male who was passing by, and he took a female hostage. The police were able to kill him before he killed anyone else. Of course, he was shooting Allahu Akbar. Rather, he was shouting Allahu Akbar. God is great. You can get these details in the news, but I want to give you the why. I want you to understand what is going on. During the life of Mohammed, when he led a military expedition against a city named Khaybar, he approached, now this was an unprovoked attack. This was a completely unprovoked attack. He wanted the real estate, he wanted the money. He approached Khaybar and he said, Allahu Akbar, Khaybar is destroyed. He said, woe to the city that does not hear the call to prayer at sunup. That's what he said before he yelled Allahu Akbar. He just wanted to hear, were there any Muslims in the city with the call to prayer? And as they were approaching the city, he yelled those words, Allahu Akbar, or Allah Akbar, God is great, before launching an attack to kill innocent people. So this Muslim is imitating Mohammed, the founder of Islam. Let the full weight of that sink into you. There are any number of stories in the scriptures, in the four Gospels or in the book of Acts, where you as a Christian might try and imitate Jesus or quote Jesus. Blessed are the peacemakers. If you don't forgive those who sin against you, your heavenly Father will not forgive you. I say unto you, forgive them 70 times 7. There's so many passages in the gospel that you could quote, and if you're a Christian, you have quoted. When a Muslim studies the life of Mohammed, they are studying predominantly a religion that was victorious through terror, through force, through bloodshed and murder, through rape and kidnapping and hostage taking. That's what we're dealing with. And the example is massive. These are not one-offs in Muhammad's life, okay? So this guy is in prison. What do you think he's doing when he's in prison? He's reading Islamic literature and he's talking to Muslims. Now, I'm not going to get up because I'm in focus right now and my books are out of focus, but if you were to be able to focus on the books behind me, you will see what is called canonical Islamic literature. Canonical means true measure, all right? So if something is canonical, it's the truth, it's unimpeachable. So in the Christian religion, we have the canon of the scriptures. These books together are the Word of God, right? So there is a certain body of literature in Islam that is considered canonical. It is the Sirah of Muhammad, the biography of him written by Ibn Ishaq, and it is the collection of hadith known as Sahih Muslim and the collection of hadith known as Sahih Bukhari. In addition to that, there's the Quran. So that body of literature, which is fairly extensive, forms the foundation. And then after that, you have Al-Tabari, which you can see the set behind. You have Ibn Kathir, which you can see the set behind me. And you have a massive amount of other hadith collections. The hadith are the words, the record of the words and the deeds of Muhammad that are not in the Quran, okay? Which is a massive amount of literature. The Quran is a very small book. So he's in prison, and he's reading canonical Islamic literature. That's my bet. And in that canonical Islamic literature, he's learning what it means to be a good Muslim. A good Muslim is someone who follows the example of Muhammad. And here we see Muhammad attacking Khaybar, one of many illustrations, saying before he urges his men to kill, saying, Allah Akbar. I'm going to take a break. I want you to stay with me because I'm going to explain other things that are going on inside of this man's head. Please don't leave me. I'll be right back. Today, many so-called Christian intellectuals believe that the God of evolution used billions of years of death and destruction to evolve the bodies of the first human beings. Then, they simply declare the theory of evolution as fact to justify their unproven scientific fallacies. By the grace of God, more and more Catholics are rejecting this modern-day mythology in favor of the traditional doctrine of creation, as recorded by the Bible and believed and taught by all the fathers and doctors of the church. To find out how sound theology and natural science confirm the sacred history of Genesis, visit the Colby Center for the Study of Creation, and be sure to check out our bookstore, which has titles like I Have Spoken to You from Heaven, A Catholic Defense of Creation in 6 Days, and A Catholic Assessment of Evolutionary Theory. That's the Colby Center for the Study of Creation. Welcome back to the program, friend. So he's in prison. Benjamin Herman is his name, a Muslim. He gets out of prison on Monday, and before nightfall, he kills, or maybe it was early Tuesday morning because of the way the clock changes. But in any event, within hours, he has committed 3 murders and is dead. All right, so he's following the example of Muhammad. He's yelling Allah Akbar before he launches his attack. In canonical Islamic literature, the caliph has the right to proclaim holy war. Now, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, has called upon Muslims around the world to launch one-offs, what we would call, or lone wolf attacks, we would call, where a Muslim just uses a knife or a gun or a car and randomly kills what they believe are infidels. Now, why? Why would they do that? Well, because number one, a caliph, the self-proclaimed caliph, said to do it. But there's something you have to understand. When Asma was killed, she's a woman, you can read her story on page 676 of Ibn Ishaq, the biography of Muhammad. It says that when she was killed, there was a great commotion among the people of Katma. And the murderer went the next day to the town and said, I killed Asma. Withstand me if you can. O sons of Katma, don't keep me waiting. She had 5 sons, and they wouldn't try and exact revenge on him. And the Muslim literature says that the men of the city became Muslims because they saw the power of Islam. That's what it says. They became Muslims because they saw the power of Islam. What was the power of Islam? That this man could commit this murder and then say, I did it. And they thought, whoa, we better become a Muslim. So these Muslim terrorists believe that when they kill people, other people will see and will be terrified and they will convert. Muhammad said, I have been granted superiority over the other prophets in that I was allowed to cast terror into the hearts of my enemies. Again and again in the Quran and in Muhammad's words, we see he understood that terrorizing the living was one of the ways that people converted. So in international relations, we have a phrase, terror is not for the dead, terror is for the living. when you commit a murder, when someone commits a murder that's premeditated, I want this person dead because they harmed me or they did this, that's murder. Terrorism, in other words, that person's dead and that's what I wanted. But terrorism is, I'm going to kill random people so that the living will change their behavior, will change their beliefs, will change their politics. So when Muslims were killing people like Theo van Gogh, the Dutch filmmaker, when they were trying to assassinate cartoonists, the purpose was to get Americans and Europeans to not speak ill of Muhammad, to embrace that portion of Sharia law, Muslim law. See, Muslim law forbids speaking ill of Muhammad. To say Muhammad was an evildoer, to say that his raping of women was a criminal act, to say anything against his behavior or his person or him being the alleged prophet of God is an act of apostasy and is punishable by death. So when they kill random people and then they say, let's see who is Sharia compliant. That's what's going on. So you think of the group Council on American Islamic Relations, which is, they are an unindicted conspirator in a terrorist ring, okay? These people are evil. And I hope you're watching, because you guys know you're liars, and you know that Muhammad was a killer. You know that Muhammad practiced rape. You know that Muhammad urged people to kill the innocent. You know it. So when they see something like this happen, they're not going to make a comment. They're not going to justify it. They're not going to condemn it. But what they do secretly is they say, the infidels will be more careful. The infidels will be more careful to not speak ill of Islam. It's their long game, friends. It's their long game. Something else. Why did this guy clearly set himself up to be killed? So he kills the two cops. He kills a random man. He takes a woman hostage. And then he allows himself to be in a position where he can be killed. Again, Muhammad said, if you fight the infidels and you stand your ground and you die facing them, he literally said, if you die facing the enemy, you'll go to paradise. So he put himself in a place where he killed infidels and where he ensured that he would die. And Muhammad said of the jihadist, Muhammad called them a martyr, that he would receive 6 things. Among those things are forgiveness of his own sins, 72 virgins in paradise, and the ability to bring up to 70 family members into heaven with him. So this is a perversion of Christianity. You understand, Jesus shed blood is what redeems us to heaven. In the perversion called Islam, it's the shed blood of the man himself and the shed blood of his enemies. Muhammad said that when a martyr, that's a Muslim terrorist, stands before Allah, his blood will appear and his wound will appear as it was when he was killed in battle, but the smell of the blood will be the smell of musk, an aphrodisiac, for his 72 sex virgins, sex slaves up in heaven. So this is what's going on in this guy's mind. Cruddy life down here, I'm a servant of Allah, I want to go to paradise, I can do this math. If I go out and I kill these people, and then I'm killed in this attack for Allah, I will go to heaven. I will have virgins. I will have musk. I'll have a sapphire worth more than all the contents of the world. Do you understand? That's what's going on in their head. And you don't have to read a single jot or tittle from ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Boko Haram or Hezbollah or Hamas. All you have to do is read the words of Muhammad. Just read Ibn Ishaq, Al-Tabari, Ibn Kathir, Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. Just read them. Oh yeah, and read the Quran too. That's all you need. Lord God, have mercy on us. God, wake us up. God, show kindness and comfort to the families of those who were murdered by this devout Muslim imitating Muhammad, the founder of Islam. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Have Muslim terrorists hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam? Or is there more to the story? The answer lies in the life of one man, Mohammed, the founder of Islam. Muslim terrorists see themselves inside a 1,400-year-old story, a narrative that focuses on specific events in the life of Mohammed. We are going to look at Mohammed's life using their most sacred literature. We will look at Mohammed at the Battle of Badr. We'll see him deal with those who mock him. We'll see the times when he used deception. We'll witness Mohammed's anti-Semitism. And yes, we will discuss Mohammed and his teachings concerning sex, slavery, and jihad. Friend, if you want to understand Islamic terrorism, get this series today. Ideology matters. Belief matters. The reason that earlier in our nation's history, a couple generations ago, we viewed communism, the ideology of communism, as such a threat, and hence communists as a threat, was because we understood that communism at its core would enslave people, would destroy Christianity, would destroy private property, destroy religious freedom, destroy freedom of the press, okay? Freedom of speech. That's communism. And so we looked at the ideology of communism and said, this is un-American, it is evil, it is oppressive, it is a danger, it is a threat. And then, we could look at the nations that lived under communist ideology, philosophy, and communist law, and we saw the Soviet Union and the gulags, and we saw China and the prison camps, and we saw Cuba and the torture and the detention of its citizens, and its deliberate crushing of Christianity, and we said, our instincts are correct. Communism is a threat, and communists are evildoers. Right? Islam is an ideology. It is a threat. Now, and Islam is far worse than communism ever thought of being, and far more successful in its efforts to crush freedom and liberty and freedom of the press and Christianity. Go to Turkey. We just watched a movie last night that I cannot recommend highly enough. It's called The Promise, a $90 million production. The Promise. Watch it. Only made $10 million in the box office. It was about the Armenian genocide that the Turkish government did during and after World War I. Armenian Christians were slaughtered. 1.5 million Armenian Christians were slaughtered by Muslims. So if we look at the ideology of Islam and look at their core literature, like you would look at the Communist Manifesto, like you would look at Mao Zedong's Red Book, okay? You can look at their literature and go, wow, this is really evil. No one looks at communist literature. Actually, that's not true. No thinking person looks at communist literature and says, this is not a big problem. This is not a problem. This is good. Just, different ideas. No, it's a threat. And no thinking person would say Islam is a religion of peace. Because the history and the philosophy and the ideology of Islam and the record of their deeds, it's so overwhelming. Only a fool, or someone who is literally influenced by demons, the diabolical, the satanic, only a fool would say that Islam was peaceful. Look at the Christians in Egypt. Look at the extinction of Christianity in certain portions of the Middle East, where Christianity was the core religion. It's gone because of the sword of Mohammed, the sword of Islam. And so, friend, I use this program. I talk about these things to be a watchman on the wall, to sound the alarm. We have a film coming out soon called Mohammed in His Own Words. I am begging you for your prayers, for guidance, for success, for courage in the people that need to deal with this. And if you want to help us financially, we've still got a lot of work to do. Go to my website or call the number that you see on the screen, the phone number, and make a contribution. We will send you a review copy of the film. Gift of any size, we'll send you 1 copy. A gift of $100, we'll send you 5 copies, okay, of Mohammed in his own words. No one's ever done anything like this before. And if they were to kill me tomorrow, the movie is still going to go out. And the movie is true because it's based upon Muhammad's words. It's just using his words. And it is footnoted more than most people's PhDs. I've got to take a break. I'll be right back. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Mohammed and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, "I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life." Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, "What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Mohammed and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced." Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Friend, we have a series that will help you and those you love to have an impact on this country. It's called Insurrecta Nex. That's Latin for revolution against the killing of innocent people. This is the history, the philosophy, and the theology of social revolution in America. We look at the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, the abolition of slavery, the abolition of child labor, women's voting rights, the civil rights movement. All of them have this in common: courage, sacrifice, dedication, and in-your-face tactics and rhetoric. That's one of the reasons that we've been losing the culture wars the last 40 years, is because the bad guys are using these tactics and we aren't. We will send you this 14-part TV series along with these manuals for students, a teacher's facilitator guide for only $40. Go to 304-289-3700, 304-289-3700. President Trump's meeting with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un is back on. As I've watched this and seen the Washington Post just froth at the mouth about Trump's chaotic foreign policy, when I saw what Trump did by pulling out of the meeting with the letter, I thought to myself, this is brilliant. Because what's going to happen is that Kim Jong-un is going to come back to the table and Trump's going to say, okay, we'll meet. And it's throwing a bone to Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un gets to look like, oh yeah, I got the meeting back on. I want to play ball. What difference does that make to Donald Trump? At the end of the day, the president's mission is to denuclearize North Korea. That's it. To get them to destroy their nuclear arsenal and to destroy the facilities wherein they can make nuclear bombs. The end. It doesn't matter if Kim Jong-un wants to stand so that he's taller than President Trump. It doesn't matter if Kim Jong-un is the first to use the pen. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It doesn't matter what President Trump wears. What matters is that he is successful. So he yanked the rug out from underneath Kim Jong-un, which I guarantee sent a shock through them. And then he said, no, I want to meet. Trump says, okay. Picture yourself as the person with the most power. It was brilliant. Whether this meeting happens or not, maybe this one will get canceled. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I believe that Trump will meet with Kim Jong-un. Whether or not he can get him to give up all his nuclear weapons, that remains to be seen. I think there's a good shot. The president's saying the North Korea has such great potential for economic prosperity, and Kim Jong-un knows this. So he's just lavishing praise as if his letter to pull out didn't even happen. Friends, it's not chaos, it's genius. It's genius. And if he is successful, trust me, the New York Times and the Washington Post will figure out some way to say that President Trump is a failure, even if he delivers and gets nuclear weapons out of the hands of the North Koreans. I'll talk to you soon.